So we know of the 7 chakras, but the truth of the matter is that there are hundreds of chakras that we have, smaller, bigger ones. And I have recently heard of the Hara. The Hara apparently is an energy center that is around your navel area. Hey, what's up, you guys? Thank you so much for joining me today on the meditation channel. Hi, how are ya? What's going on? Okay, so I wanted to talk about an interesting topic that has come up recently, and I thought that this is something that I would share with you guys, and hopefully it helps you with your manifestation practices, with your spiritual practices, and with essentially the understanding of why we're here. Why we're here on earth. Why did we incarnate into a physical form? If we are really spiritual beings, and if you think about it, we often talk about the soul being in another place. It is not in the body, it's somewhere else. And you know, when we get called back, we go back to our soul. Or, I mean, I've also heard of that the soul is in the body. But the point is, the body is not who we are. The point is, this physical realm isn't apparently real. In fact, we've all heard of the Matrix, that the Earth is a form of the Matrix. It's a video game. And so all of these questions kind of started to make me think. And I've also have a fascination with essentially out-of-body experiences and NDE experiences. And when I started to look into that, I found a common theme. And many have essentially said that when they go to the other side, or when they get out of body, they suddenly feel that this reality wasn't as physical. That in fact, when you go into spirit form, that feels more physical and more real than this current reality that we live in. And thus the theory of this is the Matrix and this is an illusion. And again, it made me think about spiritual practices and how we connect to spirit. And especially in the Western world, we are taught to think of spirituality from the top chakras, most likely the third eye and the crown chakra and your star chakra. And when we do spiritual practices, we connect to the energies above, which makes sense because if your soul's out there, then you're pulling down information and you're calling in that download, if you like, to then fulfill it or create it into the physical. However, I have discovered a new energy center in the body. In fact, there are multiple energy centers in the body. So we know of the 7 chakras, but the truth of the matter is that there are hundreds of chakras that we have, smaller, bigger ones. And I have recently heard of the Hara. The Hara apparently is an energy center that is around your navel area. And I've been given this information, I think, because essentially I started creating a meditation, which, by the way, I will link up here. You should definitely go and check it out. It's a beautiful meditation, a powerful manifestation meditation. And I intuitively was already kind of using many of these practices and these energy centers without knowing how. I am claircognizant, so I just know things. I don't know how I know them. I just know them, and I trust my intuition when it comes to these things. And I'm also a channeler, thus me receiving the information from above. But let's talk about specifically manifestation practices when we want to manifest something. So I have heard of multiple ways to do meditations, and I do these practices often. One, which is basically you create the seed or the intention from the base chakra, and then you move it up all throughout the chakras, and then I release it out into the universe. Essentially, this is more of a surrendering kind of practice where I give the seed to the universe. I entrust it into the universe to take care of it for me. The second one is the reverse. You call this intention up out from the universe and you move it through all of your chakras and then into your base chakra, and then you essentially birth it into the world. Whether you're male or female, it doesn't really matter. Now, I love this practice, this meditation practice, because I find it to be incredibly powerful and definitely something that makes sense, if you like. However, when I heard of the Hara chakra, I was looking a little bit into this energy center, and I suddenly had an aha moment, because the reality is that humans are very limited in what we understand and what we know about the self, especially around energy. We can receive that information through downloading and channeling and all this sort of stuff, but at the end of the day, this is really, really strong intuition, and there is no text or no proof essentially to really back any of this up, except for when you do it, it happens or it doesn't. That's essentially your proof. But with the Hara, I had kind of gone into a meditation about it, and I kind of saw it as this very big energy center. So if it were a chakra, it would be a very big chakra. And I felt like it wasn't in the body, it was outside of the body. And from what I received, or the information that I downloaded around it, this is very much linked to your life, to your path, and to your physical connection to this realm. So when I had this download, I realized something. I was like, oh my God. This would be a powerful manifestation meditation to do, essentially, where we're calling in this intention, this seed, and we channel it into the Hara, into this energy center, because it's connected essentially to all of the base chakra, the sacral chakra, and the solar plexus. And one has to do with the identity, the other one your creativity, and then the last one, which is essentially your connection even to the earth, but your safety. And it's the first chakra that is created when you are born. It's also connected to your childhood, to your family, to your security. So there's a lot here that makes sense. But when I received this download, essentially, it made sense to me that this is one of very powerful way, essentially, to activate this. So one of the other practices that I do that I started changing now, and I added this Hara activation, if you like, is that I would wake up every morning and I would call in this light, this higher power, and I would allow it to wash over me, especially through the top chakras. But now I connect it also to my Hara, because it's not just me in the spirit form or my connection to the higher powers. I live in a physical world. And this is the world, this is the game that we're playing and that we have to essentially solve and win. And why not download as much information as possible into the base chakra, into the solar plexus, into the Hara, into all of these chakras to essentially help us materialize the thought, materialize the energy, materialize the intention. And it makes sense to me. So I invite you to try out my meditation that I had linked up before. I will also show you here an image of what it looks like. It'll also be in the description box. This is a very powerful meditation that I highly recommend. Now, the most important part that I also received about this activation, this type of meditation, is that it's very important that you first clear out your energy centers before you do anything. Think of it kind of like, again, this is why we do activations. This is why we do Reiki. This is why we do all these things, because these energy centers get clogged up with lower frequencies, with fear, with negativity, with trauma. And we have to clear them out, especially before you want to call something in. You don't want the two energies to kind of mix up and get a little bit muffled. You want it to be very clear, very intentional, very direct. So in my meditation, essentially, I see this chakra as a disc. You can see it as a ball, just ask it how it appears to you. But again, once you practice the meditation, it'll make sense. And I also included the third eye and the heart chakra with it. But essentially, I create an energy vortex where essentially this energy moves in a circular motion clockwise, where it basically sucks out the negative energy out of my body. So whatever I'm feeling in my heart, in my mind, and in my Hara, I release those blocks out into the universe. I like to usually visualize it as like a black cloud or a dark energy. And sometimes I see the images, I feel the emotions, or I just see colors, or I just set the intention. Once you feel like the chakra has completely detoxed, or the energy center completely detoxed and cleansed out, then I reverse the disc. I make it go the other way, so it becomes kind of like a vacuum, and it begins to suck in energy, calling in, pulling in new energy. And I bring in that intention or that desire, and then I visualize this maybe as a ball of energy or a light or a color again, and I see myself drawing that energy into me. And essentially, it's a way of downloading information, downloading sacred codes, downloading the frequency into you, into that energy center, so it can find its place within your body. So this is a practice that you can do at any time. Obviously, this is something that you want to take a little bit of time to do. I wouldn't suggest this is like a very quick, like, okay, forward and back. You want to make sure that you probably practice it more within the meditation, which is, again, I put the meditation down below, so you can use that meditation as a reference. And then you can do it on your own, or you can just replay the meditation over and over again to assist you with that. But I noticed a bit of a shift with it. I noticed that I'm a little bit more grounded with my intention. I'm a little bit more focused, and I'm a little bit more intentional into manifesting it into a physical form. Well, as oftentimes, and by the way, there's nothing wrong. These top chakras work as well. It's just, again, another form, another practice, another way of getting there. You know, if you want to get to the top of the mountain, there's many ways that you can get there, right? You can drive a car. I mean, depending on how the mountain is designed, you can hike it, you can bike it, you know, you can climb it. So there are different ways to get up there. And the point that I'm trying to make here today is that I'm sharing information, downloads, spiritual practices that I test out and that I use, especially in my meditations, because I find these essentially to be something that could be an aha moment for someone or for myself. That one practice that really resonates with you and changes everything. I want you to think of your spiritual practices like a key. Okay, now the world, the spiritual realm is a big door, right? And then the world could be the lock, but it takes a tiny key to open up all of that. So sometimes the little shift, the little things, the little changes that we make, the trying the new things can be the biggest transformations that we experience. You never know. All right, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave a comment below and let me know if there's any topics that you would like me to discuss or talk about. And by the way, if you would like to join my mailing list, my website is down below. Just click there and you can join so that you don't miss out on any of the promotions, classes, anything and all that essentially I do. Okay, guys. Well, I'll see you in the next one. And as always, have a magical day. Bye-bye.